All right. Welcome back to another edition of Who You Got. I'm Greg. He's Jimmy. If you're joining us for the first time, do what you saw in that little intro video. Please subscribe, like. If you're joining us again, coming back to hang out with us, we appreciate you coming back, listening to our takes in the world of sports and giving you out some of our best bets for the upcoming week, if that's your thing. And remember, again, please follow us on X, Instagram at Who You Got 33. And if you're listening to the podcast right now, check out our new YouTube channel at Who You Got 33 over there on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. And also, please check out our boys at KC Sports Authority on YouTube. They're awesome. They put out great content. They actually made that intro video for us. And we will be featured on their channel later this week in a great fantasy episode. So check us out over there as well. All right, Jimmy, we got to start once again, just making people money, paying for their vacations. Sunday, if you checked X like we tell you to, gave out a 6-1 hit in NASCAR with William Bryan taking down the Iowa Corn 350.
The Iowa Corn 350. If there was a better name for a NASCAR race, I have not heard it.
No, it's a good one.
Yeah, but what great hit there. Really digging deep. 6-1. Real nice hit. I didn't catch it before the race. How far was that back in the odds? Like how many people are ahead?
He was the third choice on the board.
Third choice. All right, well done.
But he graded out and what you need to do at a course like that. So it was definitely worth the value. Got that one home, 6-1 for everybody. Appreciate all the love on Twitter for the pick. Thank you. Yep, we'll try to keep giving you more. All right, but the real topic I wanted to open the show with today, because it's becoming a thing here. Where are you with the Yankees? I mean, it is getting bad. I know Judge is out, and he's going to be back soon with the injection in the elbow, but they are minus 650 to make the playoffs, plus 475 on the no. I already took a little sniff on the no a couple weeks ago when it was 700 because I just have no trust in this team. They're making the playoffs, or are those odds just crazy?
I mean, it's tough.
I mean, would you lay $650 to win 100 right now and the Yankees making the playoffs? Are you that confident?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. But on those odds are crazy. And problem is, I look at him behind, like who's behind him in the wild card race, and like I mean, I'm just not that. It's more so I'm not as confident in anybody coming to take it, right? I think that. Do you believe in Kansas City fully? Tampa Bay would have been a great story with the stadium. I don't know. I mean, the Angels never. They're only 5.5 back, but they're the Angels.
Here's where I would be a little worried if I was the Yankees, and that is beginning of the season. 3 of those teams behind them, the Rangers, the Guardians, and the Royals, were all picks to possibly make the playoffs. They aren't like surprises. It was surprising how bad they started. Now, the Guardians looked like they kind of tossed it in a little bit at the trade deadline, aren't going after anything, but Rangers and Royals were aggressive. And between the Red Sox, Yankees, Mariners, Rangers, Guardians, let's say those are the 5, 2 of those teams are going to be on the outside looking in, and there's only 5 games separating all of them right now.
Yeah, no, it is a tight race. This is when baseball becomes exciting. But no, to answer your original question, I'm sticking with my answer. There's no way I'd lay 650 at this point, right? That's a crazy number. I mean, 200 I would probably lay. I think that's a really fair bet. But even 350 or 400 at this point with them, I mean, having a 2.5 game lead over Texas is not a lot. It's not a ton. And all it takes is a bad streak and a hot streak, and that thing flips really fast. So, yeah, I don't know. That seems like a wild line.
Look, they're plus 425 to win the American League right now. I think that's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't think they have a chance to win the American League.
Plus 900 to win it all. They're tied with the Mets, who I would tell you I would take before I would take the Yankees at this point.
Me too. I trust the Mets lineup much more than the Yankees. They just got swept by the Marlins. It's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them in a series with either team that's above them right now. I think the Red Sox would take them in a series, and I think the Jays would take them in a series.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Jays, I mean, coming on, the thing that we talked about multiple shows where with the run differentials really, really low. But I mean, I haven't done a deep dive on the Jays. They keep doing it. But Boston, your boys are coming strong.
Well, yeah, let's address that when you gave me a little bit of a side eye look back at the beginning of June when I put 30-1 in my pocket for some pizza money for them to win the East. Yeah, they're down to 4-1 now, fellas.
It's right. They're right there. Who
Yeah.
knew that? Like we said, that they would get better and San Francisco would get worse with the Devers trade. It's a wild happening. It's not a good look for him.
It's not. It was a great. It's turning out to be the move that they needed to make, and we called it out with the whole Bregman thing here. That hey, Devers, quiet down. Like you're an employee. Like you're a great player, but you're still an employee. If they tell you, hey, we need you to go do this,
Yeah,
you go do this.
that's it.
That's it. Bottom line. So yeah, I'm with you. I would tell my hot take right now. Yankees finish just outside the wild card. Don't even make the playoffs this year after all the hype.
That would be, yeah. I mean, at what point does Cashman really get looked at if that becomes the case, right? The whole
Yeah,
argument with like all the sabermetrics and all the metrics, it is very good for predicting regular season success, but anything can happen in the playoffs, right? Famous for Moneyball, when you get to the playoffs, short series, the more talented team can come up. It's kind of a roll of the dice at that point. But if you don't make the playoffs and
yeah.
it doesn't do what it was designed to do, it does seem like Cashman sort of gets a pass every year, and we just keep on. And then, if so, I think if they miss the playoffs with the talent that they have, regardless of injury, then yeah, I would be, if I was a Yankees fan, which I'm not, so I don't really care, but I would probably want answers at some point.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, everybody had them and the Dodgers basically penciled back into the World Series, and I've been saying since March, Yankees aren't that good. Everyone, the pitching is not as good as you think it is, and if Judge is not hitting, or does that lineup really scare you? Doesn't me. There's better lineups out there. The the Tigers are a better team. I mean, their pitching's better,
Mm-hmm.
and their hitting is better. Why they are just slightly favored above the Yankees to win the AL or to win the World Series? They're the third choice. Yankees, I believe, are the fourth or they're fifth, one of the two. But the Tigers should be well above the Yankees at this point.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't understand it. I mean, we know the odds makers don't necessarily, like, they don't take favoritism into account. I don't know, do they know something that we're missing here, or they just think they can rob people because there's so many Yankees fans out there?
Well, they do. Let me throw this out there for everyone who might not know. They do when it comes to certain teams because they don't want liability. So they're never going to hang the Yankees out there 30-1 because they don't want someone going and placing that first huge bet on them, and then they have a huge liability on the Yankees.
Got it.
So they will always play a little game with like big market teams. Like even if you look at the to win it all, the Red Sox 25-1 is probably not a fair bet right now.
Right.
They're should be more in that 40-1 range to win the World Series. I don't think they're a World Series roster at this point. But you can tell where they have liability. The Jays are probably should be a little bit better than 11-1. They should probably be in that 15-1 range, but they probably got a lot of bets on them as a long shot, and now they got liability. So the odds are going to be lower.
With Boston only 3 games back and the Yankees 4.5, the Toronto line of -160, to me, that I don't know that that's enough with what we talked about, the run differential with the teams that are behind them. And, I know we talked about some injury dealings, but Boston's been on a tear, just slowly climbing up the chart. I wouldn't take them at 4-1 when you already got them 30-1, obviously, but I don't know. The Jays at -160 doesn't seem like I would bite on that either.
No, if you're betting right now, 4-1 on the Red Sox to me is a gift.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win this division.
Can they keep these streaks going?
I think top to bottom, they have the grittiest lineup, and their pitching is good, and they shored up their bullpen.
Yeah.
If they get to the 7th inning, you're done. You're going to the 8th and 9th, they're going to shut you down.
I think that's probably the play in that division. That's the value right there.
Just too bad people waited on it. We told you. Right, Brian Bover? We told you. The Sox are coming. Sox Nation. Just when you think they're out, Jimmy, boom, Sox Nation.
Right back.
All right. Let's go to the king, NFL. Big news here for our Bills Mafia. Cook holding in and not happy at all. Basically said, I wish I wasn't even here yesterday.
Yeah, I think when you're holding in, you want to get a deal done. I think if he didn't want to be there, he would hold out. I think by physically being there, I think actions speak louder than words. You say what you have to say to get a deal done. But my suspicion is that he does want to be there. Otherwise, he wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, do you really want to play games with your leading running back when you're a Super Bowl contender? That's my thing. Just get a deal done. You might have to overpay a little bit, but do you really want to go into this season with that hanging over your head? Now, I understand both sides of this. Like, hey, you're in a contract, you're in your rookie deal, play it out, and these guys when they're playing well, they kind of hold the teams hostage. However, it's a violent sport. His career could be over in one play. The guy's looking to get paid for what he's done. So I don't know what the fix is here. Maybe you shorten rookie contracts to 2 years, 3 years,
What's he
and let.
looking? What?
I mean, I'm sure he's looking to be paid market value, his value. I mean, he's a top. What would you put him? I mean, top 15 back, top 10 back. I mean,
Yeah, I would say in a place like Buffalo, where certainly later in the year running the ball is important. He's 25 years old. And to me, that's the time where you can get away with paying him. If we're going to say they typically, Derrick Henry's the exception to the rule, and usually after 30, they start to spiral down. Well, it would seem like getting an extension for the next 4 years on a 25-year-old running back who's been productive that was homegrown would be the time to give him a contract. Because if they do want to keep him, he's going to only get more expensive. The other thing I think is they were going to cut him at the end of the year and just go back to the
yeah.
draft board.
You know what? Maybe I'll walk that back a little bit. Let's put him middle of the pack. He went for 1,000 yards last year. He caught another 32 balls for a couple TDs. I mean, he did get in the end zone 18 times, which is incredible. But
And he averaged almost 5 yards a carry.
that's also true. So yeah, he's right in that second to third tier running back, depending on how big you want your tiers to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking down Buffalo's depth chart right now and I think, that might be, they didn't really address this, did they? I mean, in the offseason. So I don't know exactly what their other option is.
No, because I think when you're the general manager of a team, you're assuming someone's going to honor their contract. Like if you can work out a deal for an extension, great. But I don't think they're assuming hold-ins and holdouts are going to happen. They're hoping people are just going to show up and play while they're working this out. Kind of
Yeah,
a
you're,
good faith.
you're probably right. But you would think that they would have to assume that there's going to be one every year. They don't know who it's going to be. They should be able to narrow it down to who's coming up on an expiring contract too. There's got to be some way that they can figure this out. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, yeah, every year this is happening. So, I mean, I guess if one of your stars is in the last year of their contract, you might as well just figure this is probably going to happen to you, right? At this point.
Yeah, it says here. I just looked up what he's looking for: 15 million a year, which is it's a price tag for a running back. He's going to make 5 million this year on base in his final year of his rookie deal. So yeah, I don't know. Everybody puts out there what they want you to know, right? No, like we never find out like this is literally what he offered him and what he turned down. That Schefter will eventually somebody come up with some of the details, but it's never just out there what they're offering him. And that's why I think it's difficult to figure out who's at fault. Are they not talking to him at all? You never know from what they tell you. So because I don't believe any of it. I mean, they tell us something, but I don't buy any of it. Right? Just like they
No,
tell you leading up to the draft. Oh yeah, they're like it's all bullshit. It's all misdirection, smoke and mirrors. So really
I'm
knows.
sure. I'm sure it's coming down to years and guaranteed money. I don't think the 15 million is probably that far off from what he probably will get. It's probably the years and the guarantee that is being negotiated. That would be my guess.
Yeah, you're probably right.
In other news, Sean Payton says the Broncos are Super Bowl contenders. Well, if you believe him, Jimmy, you can get 14-1 right now just for them to make the Super Bowl.
I mean, what's he supposed to say, right? Like things come out. If Myles Garrett said it about the Browns, right? Super Bowl, like everybody. That's what you say. It's preseason, right? Everybody's undefeated right now. The coach can't come out and say, like, I'd really be cool with like a first round exit. I think that would show us, some progress. Like he's not going to say that. He's going to say that I think we're Super Bowl contenders. Where I think he has a point is, as we've talked, they've got a great defense. They had a top 5 defense. There's no reason to think they won't be that good again. And Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning coach. So, he knows what it looks like. We'll see if the quarterback can take the next step this year and really, really get him there. Because he was, if you look at statistically, he played well for a rookie, but he was statistically average last year. His QBR was average. I don't have his metrics in front of me, but looking at it in preparation for fantasy, among other things, Bo Nix was great for a rookie, but average for an NFL starter, generally speaking. Can he? You can be average and win a Super Bowl with a top defense. So if he can repeat that, it's certainly possible. I'm not taking the bet.
Yeah, me either. I think there's way too much here to overcome. You're not going to sneak up on anyone anymore. So I think, again, like I said in the show last week, I think the Broncos are third place and maybe second place. The Chiefs could come in third, in my opinion. But I think that's the Chargers division to lose. I think the Chargers have more pieces than the Broncos, and I don't believe, like you said, he was average last year. He was good for a rookie, but average as a quarterback, middle of the pack quarterback with Cortland Sutton as your top receiver. I mean, he's a 2 on most other teams. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? That would be a big ask out of your defense. That's going to be 2000 Ravens-esque for that defense.
Yeah, and there was I know the people slightly older than us that remember the 85 Bears. We were alive, but no memory of it.
But that's why football's great, because we could be sitting here on Halloween saying, oh my God, the Broncos are unbelievable. Bo Nix is, can you believe it? Cortland Sutton's the best receiver in the league this year. We could be sitting here literally saying that, and that's why this is the best sport. The parity, I think, is incredible in the NFL.
It is, and if you remember, I know you do, but when the Ravens had that defense, and they're not going to be the Ravens defense, but they're very good. Patrick Surtain on the outside is phenomenal. I mean, the fact that you've got the best corner in the league that can just lock down a number one, not need help double, just starting there. That's why those guys get paid big coin to play that position. But you remember the Ravens, when they won it, like you saw it coming, kind of like I don't think the Broncos are going to do that. But they were 8-8 the year before they won it. They had and that defense really started to come on strong at the end of the year. And then the next year it was just like, oh yeah, they're here, right? And that was it. So, it was a prelude to what could be. I don't think it's going to happen. I certainly wouldn't bet it. And to your point, they could end up third or second, but they're in at a really tough division with other great players and great defenses. And I mean, top to bottom, I think they've got the 4 best coaches of any division in football right now. Right. I think it's pretty tough to make an argument that they don't have the 4 best coaches out there.
Yeah, and again, with the Broncos, they're still going to have to – they're not the Ravens. They're still going to have the
No.
2000, 2001 Ravens. They're still going to have to score points. He's not Trent Dilfer. You're not going to just say, hey, Trent, do me a favor. Don't turn the ball over. And if you get in positive territory, we'll take 3. It's just fine.
Yeah, right.
That was kind of the game plan for the Ravens.
Yeah,
Trent,
they're not that good.
Trent, get us 10, we're winning.
Yeah, no, you're right. I thought before we do, I won't go much deeper into this, but the next year when Tampa won with that suffocating defense, I thought that was going to be like the trend. Like, okay, Baltimore did it. Tampa wasn't quite Baltimore, but they were unbelievable. They took Brad Johnson. I mean, they pummeled the Raiders. And I'm like, yeah, this is the thing. Like, just build a stellar defense and don't play dumb offense. And then kind of changed after that. They got more balanced.
Right, because they said we're going to throw a flag on you defense if you play football. So,
yep.
Right. So you couldn't. That was the end of the defensive era, if you will. All right. This one's a little concerning. I know McVay says he's fine and it's just, precautionary, but Stafford revisits a back specialist for some treatment. I don't know if I love that because I like the Rams and I want to bet them to win that division, but just hearing that, I don't know, cautions me. Because if Stafford doesn't play, I don't say 15 at least of the 17, they're not winning that division.
No, I tend to agree with you. I am not a doctor, as we've pointed out before. Not a doctor. But everyone that I've ever known with back problems, or anybody that's ever talked about back problems, says you will always have back problems. Like, surgery doesn't totally fix it. There's nothing like Larry Bird right? Hurt his back early in his career, never got right. Like, so I'm not as concerned about it because I think if you have a back, you always have a back, and you're probably always going to a specialist and getting something taken care of. So until he's actually out, I think he's probably okay. But I mean, on the flip side, he is 37 and it's a 17-game season now. So there's a very good chance he doesn't play more than 15 games anyway, right? Would I be shocked if Stafford played 12 or 13, even if he was relatively healthy? I would not.
Well, it's going to be hard to win the division then if you're QB, because it's going to be a very contested division, which we're going to get to later in the show with our predictions there. It's going to be a very contested division.
Yes.
All right. This one we got to address, and we apologize when we were putting the show together last week, this news was actually fresh off the press as we were in the studio. We didn't see it when we were previewing the Cowboys, but Parsons holding out, and then Jones basically says, "Don't lose sleep over it." Now, I don't know what he's trying to say there. Is he saying we're going to get a deal done, don't worry about it, or is he saying, "Hey, don't worry about it. This guy's in play. He's not that big of a deal, anyways. We'll trade. We'll figure something out." Because that's basically the shot he took at him last week when he said, "Well, the cheers aren't as loud as they were for CD or the chants."
Yeah, that was a dumb comment. I think it's the former though. Jerry, they're going to get him signed. They do this all the time, but they signed Dak on on kickoff Sunday, right? They drag these things out. I think the bigger debate is like, are they really not? We know they're probably going to pay them. Do they have some weird idea that maybe the number comes down, or do they actually like the press? Right? Do they like the drama of the press? Because we're talking about them. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Micah Parsons is the biggest story right now. I don't even like talking about it because I don't care about Dallas, and I know they're going to get it done. It's like this is a non-story. There's no way they're going to go into the season without Micah Parsons on the team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't see them starting the season without him because you're basically saying that. You're basically saying, Dak, guess what? Go score 70. Because the middle of our defense is not going to be able to stop anybody.
Yeah. And people will point back to Emmitt Smith when he held out and they went the first two games, they went 0-2, and then they came and signed him. But I don't think they let this get that far. Either way, he's on the team this year, right? The whole idea when you draft somebody is that you hope you have to pay them the next contract because you hit on them, right?
Right.
Like this shouldn't be, I don't know why this is a surprise to these general managers, why they want to, yeah, was a great pick. He's outplayed his contract. He's considered one of the, if not the best player at his position in the league. If you want to keep him, that's what it costs, right?
And the problem is trading him is just, it's almost a non-starter because if you are going to do a one-for-one swap to keep your team relevant, here's the only players you can trade him. You could trade him for Garrett. It's not going to happen. You could trade him for Watt. Pittsburgh would lose their minds, the Steelers fans. And if Hutchinson was ever traded from the Lions, that fan base would lose their mind. He's a homegrown kid. Freaking kid won a title at Michigan. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, there's literally no way. They would trade him for a couple B-line guys and a bunch of draft picks, right? Whatever that.
Yeah, that's my point, Jimmy. You're not getting a one-up trade, so you can still have your defense basically stay whole by going one-for-one because those other three guys they're not going to swap them.
Yeah, and Jerry, if you take him at his word, wants to win now. I mean, he only has so much time left theoretically, right? Jerry's getting up there in age, so I don't think he's in the rebuilding mode. I mean, look, the team's worth a ton of money. His investment is like but he does like what does he care? He's like said he's going to hand the team over to his son when he's not around anymore. It's not like he's ever going to sell it and then go spend the billions that he made on it. And so he wants to win, so he knows that he has to get this deal done. The question is, why are they dragging it? Like the number is the number. Pay him.
Just pay the guy.
Move
exactly.
Like, move.
If you have just pay it.
Yeah.
If you have it, just pay it.
Yeah.
All right, another story from the defensive side of the ball. Chargers starting linebacker Perryman picked up felony weapons charges, and he is still in the tank, Jimmy. No one came to bail him out, apparently.
That's hilarious. Like, what?
I mean, if you're an NFL player, you should be able to post a bail, no? You must have some money.
I would assume he's got all the money in the world it takes to get out on bail. I mean, I don't know what California, I'm sure it's a high number there when you get busted on a weapons charge, but I'm also pretty confident that he has the 10% of that would cover him out on bail. It's like your parents when they have that fake threat, like, you get picked up tonight, I'm not going to bail you out. Somebody really meant it.
Yeah, someone really meant it. Yeah, and not bail him out. I don't know. Again, I know you take shit for making this statement, but I'll say it again. I don't get it. You're in the NFL, everybody. You're living the dream. You're making good money. Why are you getting picked up? Why are you putting yourself in the position to be picked up on weapons charges? Why would you ever drive a car 110 miles an hour? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. I'll never get it.
I don't either. I try to give them some grace because, like, the younger guys at least, like, if I was 22 and you gave me millions of dollars, I would have made some pretty stupid decisions. Like, I own that, right? So I have to remember that, like, how old they are. Because I'll tell you right now, I would have made
He's 32, Jimmy. 32.
he's too. Yeah, clearly he's just got some bigger issues. But with the younger guys, I do try to give them some sort of leeway there. But yeah, the NFL you can call anytime, anywhere, and get a ride on them.
On them.
Where you are,
Yes.
it's part of their contract.
Part of the contract.
You can be in fucking Arkansas in the middle of nowhere, hammered, to be like, need a ride home, so I don't have to drive. They'll send a car.
They'll send a car.
Pick you up.
And bring you back to Dallas.
Done.
Actually, most likely in that situation, back to the Vegas.
Yes. That's it. So take advantage of that. I wish I had that. It'd be the best option ever. Pick me up here now.
By the way, shout out to Raiders Nation. We posted a little video of Jimmy saying the Raiders might have a chance to make the wild card, and boy, did that video take off on YouTube. So shout out to the nation. They really like you out there, Jimmy. They're buying in.
I hope I'm right about that one.
All right, let's get going with some previews. NFC North, which could be one of the most competitive divisions this year in football. Right off the jump here, are you still with the Lions, who are, let's see where they are. They are plus 155, so you're getting some nice plus money on the Lions if they can repeat as division champs. Packers plus 250, Vikings plus 320, and the Bears plus 475, which has dropped actually quite a bit since this opened earlier in the year.
I think I would look. This is going to be an exciting division, as we've talked. I think that I probably go with the Packers. They drafted Golden. They put another receiver on the board for him. If Jordan Love can stay healthy, it's really, really good. I think I would probably go Packers. My heart says Detroit, though. Like, I'll be actively rooting for the Lions to win this division. Are you still on the Lions?
More on it after we preview the teams. I'll give my breakdown of what I think, how I think this division's going to finish. All right, let's start with the Bears, the long shot here. Last year, they went 5-12, but they were good against the spread, actually, 9-7-1 against the spread. Ben Johnson, first year. Their schedule is the second toughest in the NFL. They go Minnesota at Detroit. They get Dallas at home, to Vegas, some other key games here. They go to Washington, to Baltimore, to Cincinnati. They get Pittsburgh at home, but then they have to go to Philadelphia, and then they get San Francisco on the road. This is a tough schedule, Jimmy. This is probably why they're plus 475. They are about 40-1 to win the Super Bowl, 19-1 to win the NFC. Their over-under is 8.5, and when I look at that schedule, God, I don't know. I know people think Ben Johnson being there, they're going to turn it around. But God, with that schedule, his first year as a head coach, if he went 7-10, I'd give him a high five.
Yeah, I agree. We spoke last time. I mean, Dan Campbell's first year there, they were 0-8 or 0-9. Before they totally turned it around. It doesn't just happen overnight because you've got talent in a new system, but you can see the groundwork getting laid. I don't know. If I had to take one of those bets, I would take, even with the value on the other plays, I think plus 475 is not nearly enough to win the division. I don't think they have much of a chance to win the division. I think they have a chance of going 9-8. Like, I know their schedule's tough. I think that's more realistic than laying the 475. I'd rather even money on 9-8. Because I think that they could, if assuming that Ben Johnson's the leader we think he is, we know he's a great offensive mind, that as the season goes on, they could get rolling and maybe pull some of those off. And even though at the beginning of the year, it's the second toughest schedule, let's see what that looks like when it all shakes out, right? So I would avoid probably, but if I was going to make a bet, I would bet that on them breaking through the 500 mark this year.
Yeah, as you know, lukewarm on Caleb Williams as a NFL quarterback. I got to see more. I wasn't impressed rookie year. I thought he had weapons, and they still weren't scoring. So I don't truly believe in this offense. You really believe in DeAndre Swift as a back? I don't know. As a top back. And I'm not, you got to look at the division you play in, too. If you were ranking these four quarterbacks, and, maybe I'll catch something for this, I'm putting JJ over Caleb Williams still. I think JJ is going to wind up having a better season than Caleb Williams. So to me, he's the fourth best quarterback in this division. And I don't even know where I would put their receivers. I think the receiving cores on the other teams are better.
Yeah, I mean, certainly on the Vikings they are. I would argue that they are on the Lions as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got Amara. I mean, come on. Uh, Gibbs coming out of the backfield. I mean,
Yeah, I think depending on what we see out of Golden and Green Bay, Dobbs, their other their other players that were still drafted in the Aaron Rodgers era. They were all rookies this last year. They've been uh, unsteady at best. But this is another division with really good coaching too, right? I mean, I
yeah,
think Matt LaFleur is a really good coach. We all think Dan Campbell's a good coach. We believe Ben Johnson is going to be a good coach. And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on names. That's what I do these days.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, O'Connell's considered like plug and play with quarterbacks. Like give him somebody that's reasonable, and he'll make him a Pro Bowl contender, right? So
Yeah, and let's go there next. I mean, they're rated just about middle of the pack when you look at power ratings. We all know the story last year. They were 14-4, 11-6 and 1 against the spread. They picked the two last games of the year to play their two worst games, with Sam Darnold just not managing the offense like he did throughout most of the regular season. They have the fifth toughest schedule in the league. Again, they are plus 320 to win this division. They're over under, same as the Bears. It's 8.5. You look at this schedule, I still think there's enough there. If JJ's healthy, Addison's on the other side. You got Jones in the backfield, who I still think is very serviceable. And I think JJ McCarthy is a great game manager. And I don't know why that would change going from Michigan to Minnesota. I think he's a rookie, but not really a rookie, because he got some experience last year. He got to watch firsthand what Sam Darnold was doing. So he got the experience, and he's probably seen so much film at this point, Jimmy. I think he's going to be just fine. I think they'll be hanging around all year. I do not think they will go 14-4 again. You heard me last year. I got on here every week and basically said, I don't know how this team's good. How are they? This is the worst. And I kept saying, this is the worst 9-1 team I've ever seen. This is the worst 10-1 team I've ever. This is the worst 11. It was crazy. I just couldn't believe they kept winning and winning and winning. And I think for me, it was the defense that snuck up on me, creating all those turnovers last year. I don't know if that happens again this year. So I think we'll see a little step back. I think 8.5 is a great number. I put the Vikings right at that 9-win mark, 9-8, 10-7 maybe. Maybe they sneak in with the last wild card, but I do not like them to win this division. I think they'll take a small step back. But I look for the offense, both JJs, to be rolling.
yeah, I like the over on this one. If we're going to talk about O'Connell being a really great coach and a quarterback whisperer, Sam Darnold, he played his worst two games at the end of the year, and I, for Sam's sake and for Seattle's sake, I hope that Sam Darnold is good this year, and I hope that wasn't a flash in the pan. I have nothing against him, no reason to root against him, but I do think that when crunch time came, he showed some of his true colors, or at least regressed slightly at that point. I think that's showing how much O'Connell brought him along. Don't forget, Brian Flores is their defensive coordinator. He's a great defensive coordinator, right? Got kicked out of Miami, unceremoniously, but landed on his feet in Pittsburgh. He's doing a great job up there. I think there's no reason to think that there's going to be, and I would love nothing more than for JJ to be great. But I don't see, to your point, why there'd be a huge fall off from Sam Darnold, especially with the system they have around him, the players they have around him. So I like this over as well.
And then we move to Green Bay. Green Bay, plus a little money here, plus 230 to win the division. They are the sixth best team in the power rating. So they like them. They think they're good. They have the 11th toughest schedule, so a little bit harder than average. They went 11-7 last year, as we know. They snuck into the playoffs. They were not great against the spread. They were 8-9-1, including the playoffs. I get why people like them. They are the sexy pick to overtake the Lions, as you were just saying, plus money. I look at their schedule. I mean, we're gonna start right off the bat because we're going to Detroit. I mean, we're getting Detroit at home. It's in Green Bay. And then they get Washington at home. So back-to-back playoff teams. At Cleveland, at Dallas, Cincy at home. They go to Zona. They go to Pittsburgh. Then they get Carolina and Philly at home. Then they'll go slaughter the Giants. They got to go to Detroit on, I believe that's got to be Thanksgiving, the 27th. So that's going to be awesome on Thanksgiving Day. They get Chicago back at home in December. But then this is tough. They got to play in December at Denver, who could be competing for a playoff spot. And they get Baltimore at home. And let's see what Baltimore's got. Are they in a dogfight with Cincinnati? Are they in a dogfight with the Bills for the 1 seed? I think this schedule is a little tougher than it's rated. I think this could be tough. Their over-under is 9 wins. I think it's right on the money. I would not make a bet on this season win total. I am a hard pass on the Packers win total or winning the division, and that will be because when we get to the next team, I will have a take on the Lions. How about you on Green Bay?
It's a good line. I actually would so in these tight divisions, whether I'm right or wrong on this, I just give them 3 losses on their division. I just assume they're gonna split, right? So I'm gonna start them with 3 from there, and then I'm gonna look through the rest of the schedule. And this is a difficult one because they've got games like at the Cowboys, who we saw them beat in the playoffs 2 years ago. Which Cowboys team is going to show up, right? Like there's just so many games that are hit and miss here that I would avoid this bet.
Yeah, I'm with you. So rounding it out with our 5th power rated team here in the NFL, it's the Detroit Lions. 15-3 last year, 12-5-1 against the spread. They are plus 155, like I said, they've moved back to win the division. They are one of the top contenders for the Super Bowl, 10-1. You get about 4.5-1 to win the NFC right now. Over-under is 10.5. Schedule is let's see where they rate their schedule. Their schedule is the 7th toughest, so they got a little bit of a schedule here. And here's kind of the highlights on the schedule. Like we said, they open the season at Green Bay. They go to Baltimore. They go to Cincinnati. They go to Kansas City. Not very friendly of the NFL to do that to them. Then they go to Washington. Not cool. To the Rams. They get Pittsburgh at home. It's a tough schedule. Here's the thing. Good teams always play tough schedules. They went 15-3, 15-2 in the regular season, everybody, last year. 15-2. And that was getting decimated with injuries on defense. Decimated. If you bet this team odds on last year to win the division and you are not back on them plus money this year, you are out of your freaking minds. This is the best offense in the league. And the reason I say that, I almost backed it up, but in the league, and here's why: they play indoors. Joe Burrow doesn't have that luxury. If Joe Burrow was playing with that offense indoors every game, then I would say the Bengals are probably going to score the most points. This team will score the most points again. Dan Campbell is the best coach in the NFL. He's got balls of steel. It could be 4th and 13 he's going. They're going to score points. Hutchinson's back. He's saying all the right things, and apparently he looks awesome in training camp. If he's leading that defense and everyone's back, this defense is going to be a lot better than you think. This is not going to be the team that's playing 42 to 41 games. They could be blowing teams out because the defense is going to be better than expected. The way I see this division, Detroit, no problem, 155, lock them up. It's a freaking gift from the gambling gods. They're also going to be in the NFC championship, if not the Super Bowl, Jimmy. Lock them up plus 155. I like the Vikings with both JJs to come in second. Packers to slide back to third, probably still make the playoffs. We get 3 teams in out of this division. And the Bears will do Bears things and probably win 6 or 7 games.
So do you love the over 10.5 win total for Detroit at plus 110?
Yes. I like them to win 11 or 12 games, if not 13. This is the best team in the NFC, not the Eagles. This team right here. You can fly this, Eagle fans.
Yeah, I mean, so my original take on this was I do like that. You obviously have to lay more juice, but I think the 9.5, the minus ones, you got to lay 170. But I've looked through their schedule and I don't see how they don't go 10-7. And so I don't know. What are your thoughts on laying that juice to gain that extra game? Not worth it?
No, I would bet. You said 10.5 is plus 110?
And yeah, 9.5 is minus 170.
Yeah, no, I would never lay minus 170.
So there it is. So there we go. So plus 10.5 at plus 110.
God forbid Goff goes down. That's going to be a problem. Big problem.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, they got to stay healthy. Like, again, you said this on our last episode. Every take we're giving is with the caveat the starters stay healthy.
Right.
No major injury happens. And I'll tell you right now, that game at Philly is going to be a great preview of things to come. And that is November 16th. Circle that one. It's going to be a big game. I'll give you a little a little stat here. Last 9 games in that series has gone to the over. So write that down. Get ready to bet the over that game. So I think we'll see a lot of points there. Unfortunately for the Lions, they'll have to listen to that dopey song every time the Eagles score. But the Lions are going to win that game. And the Lions are going to show Philly, hey, guess what? You're not the best team in the NFC. We are. And I know you thought your defense was great. Ours is pretty good too. That's what's going to happen. I will say it one more time for everybody because I want you to make money. Plus 155, a freaking gift. Lions win the North. Campbell could be coach of the year because of that schedule when he wins 13 games. Write it down. Take Campbell 22-1 to win coach of the year too, Jimmy.
22-1. I like those odds.
All right, quickly, and I mean quickly with this horrid division, the NFC South. It seems like most people like the Bucks, and we got a few people who are all right. Falcons could be better than we expected, and then a couple sexy picks on the Panthers. The Saints will be the worst. Well, maybe the Giants because they are the Giants. Giants or Saints, one of those two are going to be the worst team in the league. Falcons were 8-9 last year. Everybody knows what happened. Penix Jr. took over. It seemed like Kirk Cousins was hurt most of the year and tried to play through injury. Do you believe in this team at all, or is this Tampa's division?
I think it's Tampa's division to lose, which they can, right? But I think they should, because Tampa hasn't been dominant in the division. They've won it the last couple of years, but they're not going 13-4 and running away with it. Like, it's always, they win it in the last couple of weeks. It's still a race at that point. So it'll be interesting to see if they take that step forward. I hope they do. I'm actively rooting for Baker. I like Todd Bowles. I think, he got somewhat of a raw deal in New York, like everybody does. So I'd like to see that happen. Let's discount New Orleans. And look, I know Carolina. I know Bryce Young played better at the end of last year. I hope they continue to get better, but them getting better would be 7-10 this year and not being
great call. It's a great call by you. And this is the thing, everybody. They're becoming the sexy pick, and that was because a lot of bettors were just happy with them last year. They were, 8-9 against the spread, and a lot of those wins against the spread were later in the year. They kind of caught fire as a betting team. People were on every week, and they were covering and covering and covering. So people liked them. But here's the reality of the situation. They have the 9th toughest schedule. Their win total is set at 6.5 for a reason. What Jimmy just said, if they get to 7, that would be a win. I mean, they're going to Arizona, not going to be easy. To New England, not going to be easy. They're going to get Dallas at home, not going to be easy. They're going to get slaughtered by Buffalo at home. They got to go to Green Bay. They got to go to San Francisco. They get Seattle at home. Maybe that's a win for them because I think Seattle's going to have a down year. But then they get to play the Rams at home. It's not an easy schedule. I think I said it already, but they go at Green Bay. If I missed that one, that's going to be tough on them. 7 wins would be great for them. The Saints are going to get slaughtered. I would bet under 5.5. No problem. The Bucks are minus 110 to win this division for a reason. They have an easy schedule, 24th out of 32 for toughest, so the 8th easiest schedule in the league. They got a quarterback who has proven that once he got out of that atrocious franchise of the Browns, that he actually is a good NFL quarterback and knows what he's doing. This guy can put up points. I'll tell you right now, I love the Bucks to win this division. I think it's going to stay to form here. I think it's going to go Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints. I think it stays right kind of how it's been going. But I'll tell you this. You want to put some pizza money on Baker Mayfield to be the MVP of this league? I wouldn't hate the bet. No. He can put up some numbers. And he's got an outside shot. This team has an outside shot to put up the most points in the league. When this offense gets rolling with Baker, they're scary.
Yeah.
The problem is that he hits the brakes 2 or 3 games, and it looks like they've never played offense before. But if they play 17 games consistently, this team's going to score a lot of points, Jimmy, especially in that atrocious division.
I agree with everything you said. I mean, he does. He hits the brakes. All of a sudden, he becomes I don't know. His former self starts turning the ball over. He has really poor games, but he has huge games too. And just think about it. Him, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, and they have a defensive-minded head coach to shore up that side of the ball. I'm with you. I think minus 110 is a bet. It's a bet we should play. It's not one that I'm just giving advice on. I really like to play it, unless you obviously believe in Atlanta. Carolina at 380 to me is nuts. Maybe I'll eat my words at the end of the year, but I doubt it. I didn't know the total when Greg threw it out there. I was just lucky and guessed 7, but I think that would be a winning season for them. It'd be them on the right path. And the Saints don't have a quarterback. Like
Right.
they doesn't exist. And when they did last year, they were terrible. Remember, they started out the season scoring like 100 points in 2 games, and they were the Saints, and then they fell off the face of the earth. I don't think Kellen Moore came and fixed all of that in an offseason. So, yeah.
Unless Kamara rushes for 3,000 yards and scores 82 touchdowns, that team is not winning more than 5 games.
No.
Kamara is a beast. It's too bad he's on that team. I'll give you a play. Here's what I would do. If you're going to take the Bucs, you like the Bucs minus 110, throw them with the Bills, because if Josh Allen doesn't get hurt, there's no way the Bills aren't winning the AFC East. Get plus 152 for a Bucs-Bills division-winning parlay.
I like it.
All right. Here's the one that we haven't touched on yet, and that's the NFC West. And it seems to be kind of split between Niners, Rams, and then a couple people are buying into the Cardinals. I'll start with the Cards. Cardinals are ranked basically middle of the pack, 16th in the power rankings. They were 8-9 last year. They were 11-6 against the spread. They were good against the spread team, but they're a team that's just a head scratcher to watch. You watch them one week and you're like, oh my God, this team's really, really good. And then you watch them the next week and you're like, Kyler Murray, have you played football before? Like you just can't figure this team out. They get a nice, easy schedule this year. Their win total is 8.5. I don't know if they can get all the way there to win the division, but I like this team to sneak into the playoffs possibly and go over that win total, maybe get to 9 or 10. If Murray's playing, he's a good quarterback. Harrison Jr. is going to be better this year in his second year. He just is. And if James Conner keeps drinking from the fountain of youth like he does, this team, again, is a scary team. And then you throw McBride into the mix, one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talked about it a few shows ago. You and I actually got this wrong. We were trying to figure out how long McBride had been in the league. He's actually been in the league like 4 years, but he got super hot last year. Like you said, Marvin Harrison Jr. should just be better. James Conner continues to defy the odds, and Kyler Murray has all the tools. He can run, he can throw. He's got a can of an arm, right? He was a baseball player. He could have gone and played baseball, right? He can really throw the thing around the yard. So I like him too. When I'm looking at this, I know we're going to break it, but I think that's the value play here. Why should I be so confident in San Francisco all of a sudden turning it around after being completely demolished with Brock Purdy on a big contract? We just talked about Stafford's back, and you're getting 450 instead of 500 with the Seahawks. The Seahawks should be 800. What are we talking about? So
no, I'm with you.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are the value play in this division for sure.
I got a lot of tickets in pocket with the Cardinals weaved through parlays to get, like, I showed you some of them to get big, massive payouts.
Yeah.
They're the value play by far. And you start doing a little parlay for fun. I'm talking, $10, $15, and you put the Cardinals in with the Bengals if you think they can spring the upset, and some of these, the Chargers maybe, or the Broncos if you like the Broncos. You put if you really like them, put the Packers in there. And you're talking $10 will pay $8,000-$9,000 if you start getting on a roll with some of these underdogs. And yes, I think they're one of the dogs that is absolutely live. And Jimmy already said it, so we won't spend a ton of time on the Seahawks. Neither of us think the Seahawks have a chance. Their power rating's 21. Strength of schedule is not terrible. They have the 10th easiest schedule in the league, but I don't trust them. I don't trust Sam Darnold. I don't. I think he was a product of a great system last year, and he was throwing the ball, everybody, to Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson.
And Addison's not bad. Addison was on the other side. And then he got the Hawk back in the middle of the year, and he got a great tight end. Seattle does not have those weapons. Metcalf is gone. Okay? He does not have the weapons in Seattle. I don't see it. I love the under 8.5 wins. That's really all I got on that. And I'm going to move right on to Jimmy started talking about them. Why are we buying into the Niners? They're power rated 11th. They have the easiest schedule in the league. That's the caveat here. We got to evaluate the Niners. Their win total is 10.5, probably because of that reason. Here's the schedule. At Seattle, at New Orleans, Arizona at home, Jacksonville at home. They got to go to the Rams, tough division game, to Tampa Bay, that'll be a tough game. But then they get Atlanta at home. They go to the Giants. They go to Cleveland, excuse me. They get Carolina at home, which we talked about. They get Tennessee at home. They go to the Colts, who cares? They get Chicago at home. I mean, it is not a tough schedule, and if Purdy's clicking with Kittle and the gang and CMC actually stays healthy, I get why this win total's 10.5, and I get why they're plus 150 where the Rams are plus 195. I get it, but I don't buy that they're going to stay healthy. I said it last year, and we went back and forth debating this. I don't think CMC will play 17 games. I think you're lucky if you get 10.
Yeah, it is a shockingly easy schedule, and I think maybe that win total might be the move on that bet. But just to back up our Cardinals bet, I mean, they play a lot of those same teams that we think that if they're good, they open with the Saints, they've got the Panthers. Let's say they split with the Niners, they've got the Titans, they've got the Colts. So they've got a lot of they've got a lot of those same teams on their schedule, which because they're obviously in the same division, so they sort of mirror each other. So I'm still staying on that pick. And by the way, I just threw it together for fun since we were talking about it. We take the Bills, the Bucks, like we talked about. We throw the Cardinals and the Bengals on it. $10 just on those four pays over 500. So if you think there's any chance in hell there, that seems like a short line bet that it still return quite a bit. That could come through.
All right, and then if you want to add in the Chargers, it's going to go through the roof. And if you like the Rams, like we're talking about, you add them in. It's going to pay $3,000 at least for $10, right?
I got the Cardinals on there, the Chargers, the Bills, the Bucks, and the Bengals, and 10 pays 21.
There you go. All right. Jimmy's point here's where you got to make the debate on the Rams and Niners if you're going to play this division, because it comes down to scheduling. Now, the Rams are power rated higher, a few spots than the Niners. They're viewed as the 8th best team in this league, okay, on paper. They were 11-8 last year, 11-8 against the spread. The problem is they have the 4th toughest schedule in the league. And that's where you're going to have to make your decision between them and the Niners. A lot of people are going to bet the Niners, and the reason this win total is 9.5 and not 10.5 is because of that schedule. There's a few variations that make this schedule a lot harder, and that is they have to go to Baltimore. They both play Tampa like we talked about, and they get Detroit. And the Niners didn't get Detroit, right? So those are the two differences here. Oh, and I missed it. And at Philly. So they get Philly, Baltimore, and Detroit. That could be 0-3.
Yeah, that's problematic. It could be. It probably because one of them aren't going to be as good as we think. Let's say it could be 1-2. I can't imagine it's 0-3, but it could be.
But to be fair, yeah. I'm still taking the Chargers. The Rams. I'm taking both Los Angeles teams, actually. I will be the LA parlay. I like the Rams and I like the Chargers. But I for the value, I'll take Stafford and this team versus the Niners until the Niners prove to me that they're back. I don't trust them.
I agree. I mean, if you did trust them, it would have to be because of Kyle Shanahan and nothing else. But Brock Purdy's been hurt before. Kittle gets hurt. They've lost Deebo Samuel, right? I know everybody on defense is a year older. I believe they can still be extremely good. Yeah, I don't, after a year as down as last year was, to give me the shortest odds on this year, I'm not buying it. I would play the Rams or take a long shot on the Cardinals like we talked about.
You heard it here. Rams or Cardinals, everyone. Look, we appreciate you listening to us again now that we've kind of wrapped up our NFL preview for the first time. We'll go through these teams again before we actually kick off. We'll give you some player breakdowns probably later in the week. Again, do us a favor. If you like the show, hit that follow, subscribe button. Follow us on X, Instagram at Who You Got 33 and our new Jimmy YouTube channel. Subscribe to us there at Who You Got 33. We put out some great shorts, so if you don't have time to listen to the whole hour here, you can catch 2-minute segments, kind of getting to the point of our picks and our predictions. And please, you can now watch us over at KC Sports Authority on their YouTube channel. We'll be doing a nice fantasy show with them this week, so please check them out and check out our fantasy show. We're going to give you some great tips on who you should be drafting. And as always, please send any comments, questions to us, either at X now, you hit us up on X, or who you got 33. Keep sending those comments and questions in. Jimmy, any final words to wrap up today's show?
No, send your questions. Text us over. When I see my friends or I see some people around, they say, hey, I want to talk to you about the podcast, some things that you said last show. Text them over in real time. You listen to it, you think of it, it's fresh in your mind. Text it to us. I promise you, we'll bring it up.
Yep, we'll definitely address them. All right, everyone, let's cash some tickets. Let's hit some of these futures. Hope you took some notes today so you can play some of these great parlays, and hopefully we'll all make a bunch of money in the end of December, right after that holiday season when we need it. And remember, Jimmy, it's never under till it's over.